that Instagram doesn't want you to know about. That tripped me up. Tonight, we have Sam Alexander, Potato Lord of your heart, but the fry of your life. Mike Gonzalez, who is being driven daffy, maybe to death by other drivers. Vince H., who's a little backed up at the moment, and I'm Dave Packard, who is built for power and not speed. Tonight, we're talking about stuffing things.
Like a Dodge Cummins engine.
What are we stuffing things with?
What kind of things are we stuffing?
Other vehicles with Cummins engines.
Let's see if the Cummins fit in this one.
We're
If it
stuffing
will,
things with Cummins.
if it don't,
The Suzuki Samurai, please no.
See, you get the Cummins and you build the car around it.
Like General Electric did with the A10. Or General Dynamics, I'm sorry.
it works. I mean, yeah, it's a it's a Suzuki Samurai with the
Yeah, the
Cummins.
GE A10.
Jesus.
Also, all of them need hood stacks.
Oh, it's
None of this regular exhaust shit.
it's a
It
Geo
is Cummins.
with the Cummins.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm
It's
just thinking
a
of
Gummins.
Gummins.
like close air support aircraft serviced by the Maytag man.
I'm good with it.
Oh boy,
I love the awkward silences. They amuse me.
it's not an awkward silence, but you guys got to take it away because I got to run upstairs to take care of a baby for a minute. Bye.
Oh, I
Mike?
do too. No, I'm kidding.
Mike, you're an awkward loudness.
Wow.
Starting off violent.
Every time he talks.
Jesus. Like right through the heart, Dave.
But you're the fry of Sam's heart, I think is what he said.
No, I put that in there.
Oh. I think
He-
it's
he
what you
put-
said.
He put Potato Lord of the Heart or whatever. Anyway.
Oh, that checks out.
I don't
almost
even know what
died.
that
So, Mike, how long is your death story, or should we catch up on Vince, since he's always seems to be bringing up the rear, and tonight
Brett-
he seems to be a bit backed up.
I'll wait for Sam to come back. I just wanted to share that I almost died. And if Vince suddenly becomes unbacked up, then, Jesus, he's got all these caps.
Things-
Okay, dude. Like, Vince,
Things
go.
have let loose.
Yeah, seriously. Good lord.
Hey guys, I bought a freeze dryer.
Dude, that's pretty awesome, actually.
You son of a bitch!
Yeah, I bought a freeze dryer.
That's so cool.
I can't wait.
All right. What are you going to freeze dry with it?
I don't know, honestly, because I'm not the one who's going to be doing most of the freeze drying. I'll just be making suggestions. I kind of think we're going to be freeze drying just about everything.
Bacon.
I might try bacon, but I have
Cherries.
trouble with that because I like to eat the bacon.
I know.
Like I cook the bacon and then it's like, wait a minute, I could freeze dry this, or stick with me here. I could eat that shit.
It's like making deviled eggs. It's like while you're making deviled eggs, I could just have that, or
You
I
can
could
make-
put it in
you-
the fridge for later.
That's why only like 10 or 15 deviled eggs ever make it to the actual party, because the people making them, it's not because they only boiled 5 or 6 eggs. It's because they boiled 10 or 12 and they ate the other half of those deviled eggs. And
It's like
then
they-
brought them to the party so they could eat some more.
This tiny little plate of deviled eggs, but it's actually like, yeah, about that.
I made 64 deviled eggs for Easter, and
God,
we put away 3
God,
after everything.
Do you
put
do
away 3?
okay? Do you like the dill or do you like the chili powder on top?
I do paprika.
Paprika.
What is wrong with you people?
I
Maybe
would
it's
like to try
paprika.
the dill.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No, what
Yeah.
about a sprinkle of dill and paprika? That would be pretty amazing, actually.
You don't dill your paprika.
Yeah.
No.
What's your dill, though?
There's a lot of enthusiasm.
Well, Don't say shit then.
That's on me.
I know.
That's on me.
Oh, just a piece of dill pickle
I'm not a
or
big
dill
dill
juice
guy.
or like
What?
explain your dill.
Dill is the only acceptable pickle.
Bread and
What
butter.
the dillio?
You are not even
Wrong.
human.
Mm.
Dave, you're lucky I have my hands full right now, or I would boot you.
Again, I'm built for power, not speed.
That
There are a
nothing
few
to do with
things-
pickle selection.
As disappointing
Um,
as biting into a pickle, and it's anything but a dill.
Yeah,
Oh no,
like-
no,
like,
no.
Sweet pickle, bread and butter. I don't even.
Okay, I'm not a fan of sweet pickles. Zesty bread and butter. That's my shit.
I love sweet pickles.
No.
Okay,
I bet you do.
You're both not even real people.
Dude, whatever, like the Jimmy John's pickles that are like 6 inches around, those things are awesome.
That's not a pickle, sir.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
This is kind of tangy.
Pickles are a little musky.
Okay, moving on.
Goddamn. So, Vince, are you going to freeze dry bread and butter pickles?
Ooh, good call.
No. Though
Freeze-dried
when I was
pickles.
getting the pickles out earlier, I could freeze dry some of these normal real person dill pickles.
I'm into that. The only question I would have, I mean, it might be a good thing, but would that like concentrate the pickle flavor to where the whole pickle slice would be like, ah?
I don't know because it changes like the flavor palette of what you're freeze drying. Like if you freeze dry watermelon, freeze dried watermelon does not taste like normal watermelon.
It tastes like
It's-
red watermelon.
It's weird. It's kind of hard to describe.
Well, it's like when you freeze dry strawberries. Strawberries are very, very sweet and juicy, but if you freeze dry them, they become very tart, and the sweetness is very, very concentrated.
The same with watermelon. They become much more tangy and tart if you freeze dry them.
Makes sense.
Have I talked about dehydrating kiwis before and how it seems like a really great idea and they taste wonderful, and then you eat a dozen of them and your tongue really fucking hurts?
Oh, I thought this was going to be some joke about New Zealand.
No, it doesn't. Oh, yeah, we could talk about dehydrating and making little kiwi mummies, but I didn't. No, I like making kiwi chips to add into like stuff because, like, you know, for like the food packets I did for hunting last year, because they taste really freaking good. But you get that like really acidic kiwi, all that freaking citrus concentrated down to a little chip, and yeah, you'll eat like a dozen of them, and then your mouth just hurts.
I'm
Yes.
looking forward to freeze drying things from the garden.
I'm looking
think
forward
that'd
to
be
you
fun.
freeze drying biscuits and gravy and mailing us some, right?
Dude, freeze dried jalapenos?
Ooh, I think there's
Dude,
a
since-
challenge
all
there
right.
somewhere.
Since freeze drying
Light
seems
your
to
shit on
super
fire.
concentrate everything in there,
It doesn't.
Freeze-drying some-
Dehydrating will. Freeze drying can change the flavor profile. Dehydrating tends to make everything more like smack you in the face with the flavor because it tends to
Okay.
concentrate it down. That's my experience anyway.
okay.
Like a Slim Jim.
Yeah.
Snap into a Slim Jim. Now, I have a question about freeze drying. Since it does get all dry and crispy, would that make it easier to, let's say, grind something up in a mortar and pestle and have it as a seasoning?
It's gonna be ground up strawberry.
I'm
powder.
thinking jalapenos here.
Yeah, I mean, the drier it is, the harder it is, the easier it grinds up in like mortar and pestle or anything like that. You could probably grind it to a very fine powder quite easily, actually.
So Dave is in the bar, and some jackass bumps into his wife, and she turns around, and his wife, being his wife, she gets a little mouthy, and the two of them start getting in, and Dave decides to step in. Well, Dave steps in, dude goes to swing on him. Dave reaches into his pocket, and boom, pocket sand. But here's the kicker. It's been made with ground up jalapenos, so it's spicy pocket sand.
Dry mace.
I was thinking, oh, there's a product idea. You fill like a dip pouch, but with concentrated freeze-dried jalapeno powder.
I was thinking mixing it with
Si,
somebody's like
senor.
number 4 nose nacho deluxe.
Somebody write down nose nacho as a show title.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
I'm holding a 3-week-old, 2.5-week. How old are you, buddy? I'm holding a baby with one hand, and typing with one hand sucks.
Baby's like, I don't know. How old are you? I don't even know math.
He just smiled in his sleep. He's looking all cute.
How
Except
big?
He's upstairs making all kinds of noise, so he wants to snuggle with somebody and sleep because he's under the weather.
How large of things can you freeze dry?
Asking for a friend.
Yes.
They really need to be. They say in the user manual, they shouldn't be any thicker than the trays that come with it, which are maybe 3/4 of an inch deep. And they suggest less than that because the thicker it is, the longer it'll take to freeze dry. And it may not get all of it if it's too thick.
So, in theory, can you freeze dry like 1/4 pound hamburger patties?
Yes, that should be fairly straightforward. Though you need to be careful with meat. You have to really get that. You need to make sure you get it done completely because that can turn rancid really easily.
Yeah, with the oils left over in there.
Yeah.
So no freeze drying heads.
I mean,
it's thicker than the tray.
Just slice them up.
Unless we do it in like layers.
Yeah.
And then
you put them back
bandsaw.
together.
Oh man, pig's head. This is pig's head. We were going for jowl meat here.
Oh yeah, obviously. Oh, jowl bacon. You've had jowl bacon, right, before, Dave?
I don't know if I have or not. I don't know.
Vince,
I've eaten a lot of
you've
weird
had
shit.
Jowl bacon?
No.
Oh god, it's so
the
good.
old cheek meat.
Yep. I've only had it once, and it was in South Carolina because I'm pretty sure it's one of those more regional things that you just don't find here nearly as much. But it was, probably at 1 a.m. and my brother had been up and I had been up just drinking and smoking and hanging out. And then he had this package of jowl bacon. He's like, we saved this for our midnight meal. I'm like, okay, whatever you say seems weird to me. Oh, it was delicious. Anyway, the cheek meats. Them's the sweetest meats. I am planning on going out on Friday evening to go clap some large aquatic rodent. And I got to remember to cut in there and get the cheek meats out because they ought to have pretty big cheek meats.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've heard of that with iguana, but that was it.
What if the cheek meat tastes like bread and butter pickles?
Then it's going to go in the trash.
No, you put it with your pile of liver and send it to moi.
Oh, the beaver livers, huh?
Mm-hmm. Any of the livers, sir.
When you Google beaver cheek meat, it doesn't pop up anything but a bunch of beavers and a prairie dog mixed in for some reason.
This is a land beaver.
AI has failed us.
Good.
Surprising no one.
No, that's awesome.
They've literally done movies about this.
I am uber jelly about your freeze-dried jelly.
That's pretty cool.
I'm
Super jealous about your freeze dryer.
because of the. Oh, hi there, buddy. Because I like dehydrating food before going out doing stuff.
So, what if you
Freeze drying.
made some?
Freeze
Go ahead.
drying is just the next step above that because you can preserve the flavor, or actually just get. I mean, it's just better end results all around compared to dehydrating. Like your reconstitution time is going to be a lot faster. Your kind of fidelity to what the original meal was is going to be better. Storage life is going to be way better.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to freeze drying meals and things to take hunting. That should be
Yeah.
fun.
Mhm.
Biscuits and gravy is going to be one. That's kind of an easy,
It better.
because I was thinking about it. If I used just some of my ground venison that I season whenever I grind it and cook that up and put that in there, I could make a freeze dried meal that was made completely from scratch, because we make the gravy from scratch and my wife makes sourdough biscuits. So I could make a biscuits and gravy with venison, almost sausage, and freeze dry that and take it out hunting with me.
What about freeze dried deer quesadillas?
Quesadillas.
The
Ooh,
I'll write down
don't
quesadillas.
know.
you can freeze dry cheese, man.
Like an entire quesadilla whole, I don't know how that would reconstitute.
Well, you wouldn't. You pack the tortillas in, and then basically the filling you freeze dry. I'm not
Okay.
sure how a freeze dryer is gonna work with cheese. I know you can buy freeze dried like cheese balls, and they are delicious. They are like they're an odd food that is wonderful. So I would
I was
assume you
imagining-
should be able to freeze dry cheese too in that machine. So yeah, you just do like the mix of like whatever the quesadilla contents, and then you're going to be careful of have pretty exact water measurement so it doesn't turn into quesadilla soup. That might not be bad, and then you just dip a tortilla in it, and
No, quesadilla soup does not sound bad, actually. Well, and you know what? If I did just actually make a quesadilla and then freeze dry it, if I added too much water, it'd just be quesadilla soup, and that doesn't sound bad.
yeah, and then I would just pack the tortillas in a Ziploc, because tortillas keep for an awful long time. Totally.
This all sounds okay. Here's one.
That's one thing you can't do at a dehydrator at all, is anything cheese wise, because all it does is it'll just dry the cheese out, and it pulls all the oils to the surface of the cheese, and that just makes it even easier for the cheese to go bad.
So what if you made some Jello, and then you freeze dried the Jello, like you had little like.
All right,
Jell-O
hold up,
chunks,
Bill Cosby.
and then
I
you-
really don't want to go where you're leading this.
And then you take your little freeze dried Jello chunks and you grind it up into this Jello powder, and then you have this
Oh boy!
Jello powder with you for
Why don't you just freeze dry some chloroform?
quick reconstitution.
Wonderful.
It's just expanding and contracting and expanding and contracting.
I was so hoping someone else would find the humor in this with me. Thank you so much for joining me.
Damn it.
Too bad Dave missed it. He'll probably be like, "Oh, thank God I missed that."
Yeah, I honestly missing the reference on this one, so that's fine.
All right. So you make Jello with a powder, and what I'm saying is you end up with
Oh,
a pile of Jello
yeah.
powder.
Yep, I got you now.
I freeze dried Jello, and it's like the exact same thing you started with. Yeah.
It's just in a Ziploc baggie.
It's like dehydrated water, man. Just add water.
You pre-boil your water and then freeze it so you're ready for next time.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty then. Well, no, that's awesome. You are the first real human being I know that owns a freeze dryer, and so I wish you lived closer to me so I could take advantage of you. But
Yeah, dude, that's really, really cool, man.
you'd be like, "Oh man, honey, we bought this freeze dryer. Too bad Sam's using it all the time."
For the humans out there who are thinking, hey, maybe buying a freeze dryer is not a bad idea, how much was that?
If you're comfortable sharing.
A
Yes.
lot.
No. I'm just going to Google freeze dryers.
It's a Harvest Right, and it's the medium model. If you feel like going and looking it up, you can see roughly how much we paid for it.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, you say that. I've bought things that are more expensive that weren't cars, so it's all in
first-
perspective.
True, but the first three things that pop up are the harvest rights, and they start from like
I mean,
24 up to 33, or just the three that I'm seeing. I don't know which one
it
Vent
doesn't
City
matter.
bought exactly. It doesn't
But
matter.
freeze
but
dryers are ubiquitous.
You
it's
also-
insane.
not.
You also
I-
have the option of an oil-free pump, which is an extra 12 to $2,000,
Damn.
1,200 to $2,000, depending on the size of your machine. So if that's something you feel like spending money on, you can make it really expensive.
I find this to be a fantastic investment on your part. It's definitely priced to keep people out of it that are just gonna be, I want a freeze dryer, you know what I mean?
No, it's priced because it's not a cheap.
Right.
Appliance.
I'm not saying they want people to not have them. I'm saying
Yeah, it's priced to where they can make a piece of equipment and make money on it. I mean, I don't remember if they had a guest on Prepping 2.0 or if they just talked about it. My wife was listening to the episode, but they
Mhm.
talked about it the first iteration of the Harvest Right. They just had one and it was $5,000.
Yeah, I remember that actually. I remember when they first started popping up. I was like, "Ooh, freeze dryer!" Like, oh,
I
They have
remember
come
hearing
down in
something
price.
about. I don't remember, but yeah, that's great. They've come down.
and I'm like, well, do I continue to save to buy night vision, or buy a freeze dryer?
But don't you?
Or you
already
could just
Vision
have-
buy
is-
like cases and cases of surplus MREs.
Oh,
True.
is this a segue?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay, because I have a case of. Ooh, that's a horrible sound. I should not pick that up. So I've been running by the local surplus store for, yeah, as one would. If you are a man and you don't visit surplus stores regularly, I question your manhood.
What if we don't have one?
You're excused, but you better be shopping
Okay, thank
online.
you.
Go to venturesurplus.com. And I've been buying a couple MREs off the shelf there, like legitimate ones, because it's like, I haven't had one of those in a while. And then I had it, and it's like, it wasn't terrible. They're not great, but they're food adjacent products. And so I was like, I'll keep a couple in the truck just in case, wintertime, blah, blah, blah. And then I find myself eating those because, of course, I do. And then it's like, all right, I got to go buy a couple more. So then I found down there, same company. I think there's multiple companies that make them, but one of them is Sopaco. Excuse me. And then they make what they call the reduced sodium MRE, which came in. So
Ooh.
Yeah.
okay, we'll get to that. Hang on, because it's kind of a kind of a weird loop they got to reduce sodium. Anyway, but price wise, this comes out to $2.50 before tax versus $9.99 before tax individually when I bought the case of them. So I'm like, ooh, that's a decent price for I'm not gonna pack them to use as like, ooh, these are gonna be exclusively my meals out on an archery elk hunt because they weigh more than what I can pack normally, and there's a few other reasons. One of them is I don't want to eat them for a week straight because I do like to take a dump eventually.
Facts.
Yep, and I'm not playing around with the gum because
I'm all backed up.
I have heard half of the people, basically half the veterans I've asked say that the gum doesn't do anything, and the other half say it will make you shit your brains out. So I'm not touching the damn gum.
The gum, I have found absolutely no evidence that proves that statement. However,
You're
I
on
will
that
say this:
path.
the gum does, the gum has chemicals in it that make it gum, right? And I have found that saliva breaks those chemicals down. So the gum does not stay gum very long. Next thing you know, you're spitting white chunks out, and it's
Okay.
dude, just stay away from the gum for real.
Coming from somebody who, knowing none of this, took MREs on the first week-long hunt with his 7-year-old, I noticed one, no real change in my normal hunting habits, we'll say it that way, and nothing. Number two, nothing. the gum did. Okay, that's
No
both
pun
chewing the
intended.
gum and giving the gum to his 7-year-old. Nobody noticed that the gum did anything weird. So
You're like, your
I'll
child
just say
has
that.
some gum.
I'm pretty sure the gum was just always this sweet little, sometimes cinnamon, but usually mint recompense for the military having fed you such awful garbage. It's like,
That is,
No,
here.
Mike, that was a suppository.
I mean, that's probably true. And then somebody started the rumor that, oh, hey, that gum's got a laxative in it, and now it's just hung around forever.
Maybe the rumor came from the MTIs and all the training people. They never banned you from having the gum, but they told you couldn't have the coffee. Like you could.
You
No,
can
they said you could not drink the coffee.
You can eat
So
the freeze-dried crystals.
I did so.
I believe it. Anyway, these actually don't have the gum in them, but they are touted as reduced sodium, and I'm pretty sure they get to the reduced sodium thing by eliminating all the beverage powders. There's no coffee. Not the coffee has sodium, is it? But like the horrible orange beverage base or the tropical fruit one, those things are Those things are fucking loaded with salt so that you get electrolytes back. So those aren't in there. It eliminates one of the menu items. What you get in this Sopaco reduced sodium MRE is kind of a stripped down one. It has the main menu item. It has like the cracker or the sweet or the alleged slice of bread loaf thing that really, like, you know what I'm talking about. The really
Yeah,
dense,
yeah.
the really
the-
dense, and it's shaped like so, like a
The
little
elf,
perfect-
the lambda bread.
yeah, glamorous bread. And it's shaped like when it was stamped out of a giant sheet of dough. It's like a little perfect bread shape. It's like, this is so cheesy. And then
No, it's not cheesy until you put the cheese spread on it.
but it doesn't have any of the cheese spread. Both of them I've opened so far. One of them had 2 apple jellies, which honestly, 2 apple jellies with the cracker, I'm not complaining whatsoever. The apple jelly is fucking delicious. The other one that I opened just to see what was in it today had 2 strawberry jellies, and then a dessert item, which in both of them I opened up as Pop Tarts. However, the Pop Tarts probably died back when Saddam did.
Oh my god.
And leave it to the government to take an individually wrapped package of Pop Tarts, like a single serve of Pop Tarts, like they're already wrapped. And what do? Oh, wrap them in a brown package too.
So they're in a brown
They're not
package
tactical.
inside a Pop-Tart package.
Yeah, they're not tactical enough inside the blue package. You got to put them in the brown. But the main menu meal stuff, that's just straight up normal MRE main menu. So it's not like it's reduced sodium or anything like that. So they only got to that, I think, by eliminating some of the menu items that had more sodium in them. Anyway, no, they've eaten a couple of them so far, and they taste just fine. The Pop Tart's a little bit of a loss. That's a little sad. But
Maybe you just got a bad one.
maybe okay. So my what I believe these things are is they're either contract overruns. So the government says, "Yo, make us 2,000, to make us 20,000 packages of spaghetti with meat sauce," and they made 20,000, 22,000 of them just to make sure they had enough. And so then they just take all the extras, they take all the extra stuff they have left over, and then they just stuff them into a bag, and then sell them. But for $2.50 a pop, I'm not complaining. Oh, the FRH, the ration heater in one of them, that did not work. But that's a gamble with like normal MREs half the time anyway. I feel like at least mine is surplus because who knows how old the thing was to begin with.
So interesting story about those things. And
You tell that real quick. Hang on. You tell that real quick. I'm gonna go on mute so I can open this and it's not all crinkling on the mic, so that we can see what the contents of this one are too.
So, when we were doing our nonsense warrior week when I was in basic training, it was basically a week long of go sleep out in the tent and eat MREs. You get a hot meal at the end of the day, but do a bunch of marching around, guarding, basically war stuff that we would never, ever, ever, ever do as airmen. unless you were security forces, and even then, the odds of you doing any of this are extremely minimal. So, what I learned real quick was that they would give you 10 minutes to eat your MRE, period. And it took about 8 minutes to heat with the FRH.
Yeah.
So most people were scrambling to try to eat their overheated meal in the last 2 minutes of the eating time, and they weren't getting it done. So I just learned to eat them cold.
Well, truth be told, with the main menu items, what you can do is just take your knife and snip off a corner and just go-gurt that shit. Because everything inside one of these pouches, I've always found, is it can be go-gurted. No big deal.
That's a great idea, actually.
But no, I mean, so one benefit. All right, so I opened up the one, and sure enough, it's the same one that I ate yesterday, which is the spaghetti with meat and sauce. What a lovely title! Cracker, 2 apple jellies, and a Pop-Tart. I guarantee you, I open this Pop-Tart, it's gonna be deader than hell inside.
Dude, it sounds like a fantastic little hunting meal. Like, I want to go get some. I ended up...
Kind of, sort of.
For
All right, so
$2.50, that's not bad.
No.
all right, so I mean, calculations, math-wise, because this is what I do when it comes to food. And the guys I went elk hunting with last year called me a total fucking nerd because I'm like, oh yeah, if I do
Because you're a total
this
fucking
many
nerd. Yeah,
calories
I know.
per weight, and they're like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, no, I'm not kidding you. This is how I calculated my food out for the day. Pardon the stupid rapper sounds. I'm trying to open this while holding a baby. Yeah, look at that Pop-Tart.
That... What the...
It's dead.
No, what
What-
kind of Pop-Tart is it?
Strawberry
Yes.
frosted.
Oh God.
Yeah, it does not.
Isn't
smell
that
great.
supposed... Isn't the strawberry frosting on that supposed to be pink?
I think so. I
that's
think
And
just
not
a
look
glaze.
like blood?
And pink, white.
I think it's
like
so old it's soaked into the Pop-Tart itself. I can't find a Best Buy date.
bite it.
on
Is it
here.
strawberry glazed or a strawberry frosted? Because the frosted is the pink one, and if
Put
it's
it in your mouth.
glazed, then
No, I tried to eat it. I took a bite out of it the last time I
Fucking
opened one of
bits.
these. Oh wait. Is that a lock code? No, dang it, that's not a date code. Ugh, I wish there was a date code on here. I thought they legally had to put them on.
Is that a
and maybe that
Pop-Tarts
was
brand
maybe those
Pop-Tart?
were made before
Yeah,
that
it's
you were
Pop-Tart's brand,
legally.
Pop-Tart. And like I
If
said,
that was apple
this little-
cinnamon or
No, show me the
brown
wrapper again.
sugar, I would say chance it. But
Is
No,
it just
dude,
me?
look at that what's supposed to be frosted
Yeah.
on the front of that package,
yeah,
and it looked like
hold it up again.
that.
Hold it up. No,
And
hold
now-
up the Pop Tart.
Oh.
Now switch to the Pop Tart.
But-
Oh, it did soak through.
so
I think
mine
it got
are-
real hot.
disgusting.
It looked like it got
Finally-
real angry.
It don't smell very good either. So unfortunately, the Pop-Tart in these is going to be a loss, I'm going to say. However, I don't think they're ubiquitous because watching a couple YouTube videos, I think it was a Brass Facts video, where he's just, it's him and it's not Hopophile anymore. Now it's just Hop on YouTube, or just sitting around eating MREs on the side of a mountain talking to each other. And that's how I learned this even existed, was because that Brass Facts video. And his came with like the lemon sweet cake, the lemon poppy cake. So I think it
I love
depends.
that.
Oh, that thing's delicious. I think it depends on what the company, so Paco or whatever they have on hand that's like 5 years out of date. They're like, hey, we got to get rid of this stuff. Put it in a clear bag and send it out.
And let it
Can
sit
I
in the
see
sun
the-
for 3 hours and let the Pop Tarts melt together.
Well,
Can I see
Tootsie
the
Roll,
back side of your Pop Tart?
the Tootsie Roll's a little melted too. It tasted fine because chocolate doesn't always go bad, but
You didn't see the backside of that Pop Tart. It looked like
It's like a
Varicose
little
veins.
lizard.
Your
like a little
Pop Tart has varicose veins.
If
boy.
I had to, I'd eat it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
If it came down to a calorie crisis, because I did take a nibble out of it, and it wasn't like, oh, I need to spit this out. It was more like, this is definitely expired, but I don't think I would die. So if it came down to it, all right. So math wise, if the Pop-Tart was good to go, basically you're looking at 1,000 calories for $2.50. That's not terrible at all. Even taking out the 410 calories for the Pop-Tart, if it's like, so my thought on this is like a 1 day type of thing, or like I'm going to the range, and I'm going on public land to shoot or whatever, and I want to take lunch with me and not have to worry about boiling water. You know what? The spaghetti in the pouch is perfectly fine. The cracker and the jelly is fine. If the dessert item's a toss up, then oh well. And when it comes to the beverage powders, nobody's missing those because the orange beverage powder, I'm pretty sure, is just Toyota antifreeze.
Dehydrated antifreeze.
Yeah.
I never drank any of the beverages either. Like I
Well, they're
experimented.
nasty.
I had one vanilla shake and that was it. I was done.
Freeze
Never
dried
again.
antifreeze.
I just
They're-
ate the food cold and
They're-
moved on
they're,
with my life.
They're nasty, man. The lemonade is not terrible. The tropical fruit punch isn't good, but at least it's like, well, it would cover up the taste of water that you had to purify out of a freaking like a hole in the ground where 17 cows had taken a dump. It would at least cover up the flavor.
I mean, I've had the protein powder, and it's fine except for the fact that it suffers from the same
Yeah.
malady of all protein powder, in that it's like it tastes like the binary code for whatever you're trying to drink.
Dude,
It's
I
a-
discovered a thing of protein powder on top of my fridge, and my wife was like, "How long's that been up there?" And I was like, "I didn't know I had it." And so I opened it up, and it's the same brand as the one I had just purchased literally that day because I was like, "I need another one." So I opened the new one, or I opened the old one, and I was like, didn't smell anything. So I opened the new one, and it smells fresh. It smells like strawberries. It smells wonderful. It
Fruity.
smells good to go. Yeah. And
Fruit.
the one that I had opened, the old one, it just smelled like dead powder.
Whoops.
I mean, I'm sure it would still be protein if you actually mixed it, but
Javelin Fangs is watching. He says freeze dried antifreeze. Yes, sir. That is what they call orange. That's what the government calls orange beverage powder base.
Also, it's in the show titles.
It definitely
Also, Tang.
also he may have missed.
Anyway,
he hasn't
okay.
come. I wonder how long he's been watching, but
You can't talk shit on Tang because it is delicious with bourbon.
Unless you're I've told this before. Unless you're my wife and you're trying to make orange chicken and you don't have any actual ingredients to make an orange chicken sauce, so you try and make an orange sauce out of Tang. And then you try and convince your husband that it's not that bad.
Vince,
Well-
you just held up a Bahama Mama. Am I correct?
Yeah.
The only Bahama Mamas I am familiar with are pickled hot dogs at the gas station.
nice.
They come in a little pouch.
Dave, didn't your wife
God.
make us Tang and bourbon?
Oh, you know what I saw?
I don't know.
Because I remember getting pretty drunk at your house on Tang and bourbon.
How
I mean,
can you
that's one
remember? I
thing for
remember
you.
you tripping over a gate.
Do you know?
I remember tripping on the gate.
Do y'all
I was
know
like, "Fuck this gate."
the Mexican soda Jarritos?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I noticed the other day at Walmart they have an alcoholic version of that in the case.
Did you know you can make your own alcoholic version of that with a little vodka?
Now listen here.
What is vodka?
It's
I
like
don't know how to
tequila, but
practice.
made from
You mean
potatoes.
tequila, senor?
No, I mean the superior alcoholic drink.
I don't know if you guys know this, but tequila counteracts birth control. Ask me how I know.
Dave, did you miss your period again?
Someone did
Zing.
7 years ago.
Anyway, before we get too off track, because there was a point, I was trying to bring this to some kind of conclusion before I lose my voice.
Nonsense.
All right, so I bought the case for $35 locally. I can find them on Amazon for $40. I'm not going to call this a recommendation, but I don't think it's a terrible idea if you're looking for something that's like, hey, I want a down and dirty meal that I would open the thing up and honestly test out a couple of the ones you get, and if the Pop-Tarts look like mine or if it comes with something else, good to go. Maybe ditch the Pop-Tarts before you even get out in the field. But you get your little pouch of 300 odd calories of spaghetti or the cheese tortellini I'm not looking forward to. but whatever, what have you, whatever menu.
Those are. I remember the cheese tortilla. That's a good one.
They're not bad. Okay, good.
Oh,
Cheese
Yeah, they're pretty
tortellini.
good. I had one.
Okay, cheese tortellini is what. So when you're at the surplus store and you're going through the shelves looking for MREs, you look for. In my experience, I look for ravioli, spaghetti, chili mac, and what was the
anything
one
with
that's like-
pasta. All
Yeah,
of those
oh,
have
dude.
pasta.
I look for the
Creamy-
breakfast hash brown one.
I pass.
That
I've
is
never
good.
had that one.
You
Yeah.
definitely pass over anything that's veggie omelet. You pass the omelet. I don't even think that's a menu item anymore. You definitely pass the like the spinach Alfredo one. I forget what it's called. It's like a vegetarian Alfredo thing.
There is a reason we called the veggie omelet the vomlet.
I know it's
You,
called the omelet.
you know, okay, I have one that I don't want to try just because it doesn't seem like it could possibly be interesting, and that's tuna. There's a tuna one.
Yeah, you should put that.
And,
It's just a
I can go
package of-
buy
it's-
tuna.
Dude, it's
Like-
literally open it up. It's literally just Starkist
The
tuna
tuna
inside.
packet.
See, it
Exactly
just
just
seems
like the Pop Tart
disappointing.
thing.
But
That's- you're gonna be disappointed.
Did they wrap the tuna packet
Yes.
in another brown package to make
Yes.
it tactical?
Okay,
Yes.
the tuna that I have is at least the sweet and spicy tuna, so that it's like flavored tuna. But I'm not expecting that from this MRE.
I put bread and butter pickles in my tuna.
Of course you
Ooh,
do.
that sounds good.
Mhm.
Savage.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, again, this isn't necessarily a recommendation, but you could have the main menu meal, the crackers, and then your two. Again, this one had 2 apple jelly. I wish it had jalapeno. If I could get an MRE with 2 jalapeno cheese spreads in it, I don't know if I'd eat anything again for the rest of my life.
I
Dude,
think
if you got
can
an
just
MRE
buy
with
the
2 jalapeno cheese
spread.
spreads in it, the world would end and the universe would explode.
The
Because-
phrase I once heard was that if somebody shows up with 2 jalapeno cheese spreads, and I quote, they rat fucked the case.
Joke's on you. It's jalapeno jelly.
That would be fine too.
Oh.
I had a customer make us some jalapeno jelly last year. And I was like, ooh, that's yum, 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 yum. Anyway, but you're going to get away with like, say, 600 some calories that are essentially ready to eat. So no need to boil water. You can just sit down and eat them. If it's the Amazon one, you're probably looking more like $3 per, which ain't bad. It's not terrible. It's not great. It's not terrible. Again, you're gonna get more calories out of a mountain house or something like that, but you're gonna be paying more. And the one thing I've always liked about MREs versus like a mountain house meal for some things is the fact that you can decide, okay, I'm going to stop for 10 minutes and eat this now, and then move on. The nice thing about mountain house meals is you get to the end of the day and you're starving because you just burned however many calories hiking up and down a mountain, and you're like, ooh, and then you can pig out on this entire supposedly 2-serving pouch and then go to sleep. But anywho, that's what I had to talk about, because I found that cases of these yesterday, and I was all like, ooh. Actually, I was thinking, ooh, I heard about those in that video. I was like, all right, I'm going to buy like 2 of them to try out. And the guy's like, well, they're $5.99 for each for 2 of them, or there's the whole case there. I was like, oh, son of a bitch. All right,
Are
fine.
these the humanitarian? Humanitarian? No, not those.
No, those are different. The humanitarian aid rations technically have 2 main menu meals in them. They're all vegetarian, A, to keep costs down, and B, so that they're halal.
So they
And
have
kosher.
vomlets.
I
in them,
think-
most likely.
No, they have like beans and lentils and like rice and bean type menus. I've heard they don't taste terrible, but they're kind of like, you're going to be using that salt and pepper package in the accessory pack.
I think the real solution is to just buy the cake pans that are meant for a dozen people and carry one of those into
The
the woods
field-
with you.
The field kitchen cake pan.
Just pan and a spoon. Like,
U.S. reduced sodium MRE.
Yeah. Like I said,
$24.99 on Amazon for a case. It appears.
how many is in the case? I don't know. Whatever.
I'm looking.
Like I said,
I
locally
don't
for
know.
you can run down to U.S. surplus, and they've
Oh,
got
yeah.
a couple cases sitting right there. I'm
Number
gonna
of
continue.
items 5.
I need to actually dig through the whole case to find out what menu items I have, because I know I've got spaghetti. I know I've got vegetable lasagna. I know I've got the cheese tortellini. There's probably a couple more hiding in the bottom.
You've probably got penne, spaghetti with
What?
beef
Nice.
ravioli.
Oh,
and-
ravioli. No, I ate the ravioli as an actual. That wasn't a real MRE, not one of
God,
those guys.
the ravioli was good too.
It's not terrible. It's kind
I'm
of
gonna
like
go get. You're right.
it's-
I gotta go
it's-
get some of
the
these.
ravioli one is honestly like Chef Boyardee but in a pouch.
Anyway,
Sorry.
speaking of things that are borderline deadly, Mike, how you been lately?
Borderline almost dead.
Is this also about food?
What will it take to push you over the
Strangely
borderline?
enough, sort of.
The Lord's chicken.
I'm pretty sure the Lord was protecting me and his chicken today. So I legitimately got run off the road on a delivery. My very first delivery of the day. So
Oops.
I was coming back from Monument, and I was getting off the highway.
I had to go poop. You were in the way.
It wasn't you.
I know.
Gotta go.
It was the different chicken car you ran off the road.
Oh, sorry.
No, this was a sedan, not a giant stupid truck with a dumb aluminum camper on it.
Hey, don't you call it dumb.
Look, I'm just jealous it's a real truck. Anyway,
Oh,
You admitted it.
Fuck.
hey, mine's a
sorry.
real truck too, but it's
I'm
still
fine.
a real
It's
truck.
fucking. Anyway, I'm not doing this tonight. We don't have time.
No, I got an almost died story. Move on. So I got off the highway, and the exit I got off Northgate, it's a 2-lane exit. So the right lane is an exit only. The left lane either stays on the highway or gets off in the second exit lane. So this car gets off in the far right lane. I get off in my lane because I have to turn left to go back to the store. And as I'm getting off, the speed limit on the highway is 75. So I'm getting off of the highway going 75 because you don't slow down on the highway because that's how you get rear-ended. So I get off of the highway and then start braking because that's what off-ramps are for. And this idiot in the sedan just starts taking my lane. No turn signal, no blind spot checking, just starts taking my lane. So I don't even really remember thinking anything. What happened is I darted to the left, but there is no shoulder because it's an off-ramp. So my left two dropped off the shoulder. As soon as they hit the sand and the dirt and whatnot, the car got real squirrely. And shut up, Vince. Car got real squirrely. I gently brought it back onto the road I was braking slowly. I don't even remember. Anyway, I brought it back onto the road and then continued down the off ramp. And the dingleberry who almost killed me, they went back to their lane, and then they were like staring at me like, "Oh," and they like pulled off to the side. There's a little pull off area right at the bottom of the exit to where those who are thinking about going to the academy can go to the academy. So they pulled off down there and they stopped because they know what they did. But
I know exactly which one you're talking about because I blew my transmission on the way to the hospital to have my youngest. And I parked my pickup right there.
the parking spot of shame.
Yeah. I got a red tag and had to have my brother drive it all the way back to Monument in first gear.
So I get through the roundabout at the exit, and I start heading back to the store, and I realize, holy fuck, that just happened, and I just start shaking. I had to take some deep breaths and like. So I get back to the store, and everybody's like, "You okay? Like what?" And I was like, "Yeah, I legitimately just got run off the road," and yeah, it was. I hate people a lot.
Sorry that happened to you. Also,
It's to be expected.
Dave, sorry that happened to you. Anyway,
Moving on.
Well, at least they pulled over and didn't just like flip you the bird and keep driving.
Dude, when I went into the store and said that I got run off the road, one of my friends, she was like, did you flip him the bird? And one of the supervisors, who is a Calvinist, she's sitting right there, and I can see her go, look over her shoulder, and I was like, no, I didn't flip him the bird because I was in chicken car. And she was like, this happened in chicken car, like freaked the fuck out. And I was like, yes, no, I didn't flip them off. It was in, like, I'm a professional.
Did you put a gun at him? Did you?
Do you have a dash cam?
And if she'd been a Lutheran, she'd have been on the warpath.
Well, you know, it was predestined. Theology joke.
Yeah, I like that. I like the theology jokes. Dave, your question again. What
Do you have?
ask?
Do you
dash
have
cams.
a dash cam?
So we got a car from one of the other stores after they quit doing delivery, and it came with a dash cam. Every one of us, myself included, keeps unplugging it because it has a camera that looks back at you, and none of us want to be filmed. Not that we're doing anything wrong. It's just don't film me.
Little Sharpie
Wait.
action.
The guy who's
Oh, that was supposed to be that funny.
No, I was like, did you see Vince?
Oh no,
That was fucking funny.
I did not see Vince. All right, this explains a lot.
Oh damn. So is it like a front and rear facing camera?
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do it again. I
Okay,
can't do it twice.
Just
You have to
Put
at least
black
describe
tape
it in
over
a
it.
podcast. You can't just say. Sorry for the cute baby sounds. I'm
Sorry,
at
yeah,
the
terrible.
model.
You're right, but it's the only car that has them, and we have 3 more. And so I brought this up, like I told the story to one of the guys who helps keep the cars maintained, and he's like, you guys don't want the cameras. And I was like, look, I am in favor of the cameras. I am not in favor of cameras looking at me. Camera don't need to see me. Camera need to see the things that just happened so I can review them and be like, the fuck?
yeah, they're trying to do that same shit with us.
Have the camera looking at you.
Inside and outside.
Like,
Which,
I
mean, whatever. It's fine, but
I don't mind the camera outside because it can, like, what is filming you? What purpose does filming the driver serve aside from
They want to see if you're on your
give
phone
them
when you get in
well,
a wreck. Yeah, they want to see if you were texting or something when that wreck happens.
I mean, that's where I was going, was just some way to
sorry.
like just to find some way to.
They want to know if you were jerking off when you crashed.
You were.
and that
Uh,
is where that guy came in.
okay. That's what Vince was doing.
Yeah.
No,
This is
no,
great.
they want to see what the what's the source of all the interesting compliments about the mayonnaise and the sandwiches.
Whoa!
Like
I
Mike,
think
you
I've
seem
had
to
these
be-
before.
Mike,
Oh my
you seem
gosh,
to be
this is
taking
my
it about.
favorite flavor.
It's
You
so
seem to be-
warm.
Mike, you seem to be taking about 60 seconds extra on every delivery, but we were getting lots of good reviews.
Yeah, it's yeah. I'm gonna
Let's-
need to take a break.
Let's move on. I find it sad that I have to wrangle this shit.
Hey,
I'm so glad I don't
This
work for
is-
Jimmy John's anymore.
this is part of the reason we didn't decide to do an edited show because it would take too long.
Mike used to work for Jimmy Johnson's.
He loves the pickles.
Yeah, he's all about
Like-
that bread and butter.
They're like 6 inches wide.
Hell yeah, brother.
Are you done?
Are you?
You started it.
Oh boy.
Dickheads.
Anyway,
So-
no, that reminds me because was it? Yeah, it was yesterday. You said you got ran off the road. I'm in my truck, and some little sedan apparently thought I pulled out in front of them with not enough room. For the record, there was plenty of room, and so they zipped in the lane next to me and started driving, both their wheels over on my side and started creeping up real close to my fender. It's like, what are you doing? I don't know if they were
People
trying
are-
to get me to overreact into the guardrail or something. But I'm like, okay, this is cute.
I
Yeah,
don't
so
know.
I was.
I guess I've been seasoned having the job that I have where I'm out on the road all the fucking time and you see all the stupid shit. I don't know
Same.
how many times, like, 287 out here, it's just a 2 lane. It has become a 4 lane.
Oh shit!
Hey, passing on the
Do
right.
that with a plow sitting on the ground. It's like, oh fuck. Oh,
You're like, oh, someone's gonna die today.
some poo has come out.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, whatever.
see
If
some
it's
really,
my
really,
time, it's my
really-
time.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be my time with some dumb shit, guys. Like,
Just let Jesus take the wheel.
Wrong
Um,
wheel, Jesus. Not that wheel.
how do you know? Never mind.
That's one of my favorite memes. Anyway, well, I guess I'm glad I'm not. I guess I'm glad I'm your words. They're hard. I guess I'm glad you're not dead.
I suppose I'm glad for it. Also, I appreciate your sentiment.
You were
I'm
like,
glad
oh,
someone's
so,
glad that you're not dead.
so close to sweet release, but yet so far.
Damn it! 3 years ago, I'd have been really happy about this.
Anyway, moving on. I
So
don't have the show notes up. Do we have anything else?
Uh,
I have been working on the Prado a little bit. I did discover I put in a boost controller. I haven't gotten around to putting in the. I did put in a gauge, not a controller. I haven't gotten around to putting in the controller yet. The gauge, I wanted to put the gauge in to give me a baseline for the boost before I go turning it up. Because how do I know whether it's, you know what I mean? It turns out it pushes 10 pounds.
I was gonna guess 13 on a diesel. I idle at 10 pounds.
My truck
Um,
picked up a nice hail dent in the hood, and I'm thinking about like putting a scoop in it instead of actually fixing it.
Like, this is the
I was
perfect-
looking at it today, like, you know what?
This
That's
is
in
the
a good
perfect
spot
excuse.
for my intake.
I like where your head's at. You're
You
like,
look-
what the hell? Hey, actually, not a bad idea.
Oh, that's enough cute baby sounds.
No, too many baby sounds.
He likes to grunt and groan.
So do you. That's why you have him.
Hey-o.
No.
And
Anyway.
also others.
No, I'm for that for my truck here coming up soon. I gotta get one of those tailgate carrier thingamajiggies, like the cargo bins that's hooked up to the tailgate hitch. And I was looking at ones that swing out. Like, ooh.
Ooh.
But then half the ones that swing out, or more than half of them, are like, they swing out when there's no weight on it. I'm like, oh, that's lame.
That serves me in no way.
And then I found
know,
some
I
dude on
could-
YouTube that built his own. Oh boy. Never mind.
oh, poor little.
I could
Oh,
might use one of those.
I keep trying to convince my wife to make more of those, and she's like, no.
Oh no, I'm talking about the swing out tail hitch
So was
thing,
I.
not
Mhm.
not the baby noises. I have one of those right now. He's over there, and he's asleep, and that's really cool.
Narrations.
isn't.
Can't wait to tell them their parents are millennials.
Strangest flex I have is like, hey, my kid's asleep and yours not.
He's he's just a little under the weather. His older brother has pink eye right now with goop running out of both eyes. I'm like, that's nasty.
That's bad. All of mine have had like the just the crud the last week.
I'll throw away. My
Like,
voice is feeling better now, but I wouldn't be surprised if I wake up in the morning and it's gone after talking this much.
Oh, my voice was doing the weird thing earlier today. Like, I couldn't get like certain ranges, so I was like, I sound like freaking Kermit the Frog sometimes. Yes, sir.
You know what I
I'm gonna
miss?
be
Do you
here
know which way
tomorrow.
town is? Yeah, it's back the way you came.
You know what I miss? Speed Mike.
That
Oh
doesn't
my
happen
God.
anymore, does it? It must have been my internet. We haven't had it
Something.
happen since I got new internet.
All right, you
Speed
guys
was
are on your own.
awesome.
I gotta go, or you're on
Okay.
your own for a minute.
So,
Okay.
uh,
Bye.
what was it? Three episodes ago, I was talking about a suppressor for my 300 Win Mag with a stupid thread pitch on it. And Gadsden Arsenal, our buddy in Kansas, Brandon, reached out and he's like, okay, so what do you want to do? And I told him the whole situation. And he recommended that I get a lighter can with a QD mount. And he recommended, like, for if I was going to go with a lighter can, I'd go titanium. And he recommended the Enticer. Since it being titanium, I mean, it's a 300 Win Mag. I'm not mag dumping this thing. It's a bolt
What
gun.
brand is the Enticer again?
Oh, hell. I cannot remember. It's been a couple weeks since I talked to him, but. Oh, damn it. But, anywho.
You talk, I'll look it up.
Yep, go ahead. He was thinking. He was skeptical about having a big heavy can off the end of that barrel because it is so small. And that was one of my main concerns was because it is so small, if it does heat up and if it does flex just a little bit, I mean, that's a baffle strike. So I do like where Vince's head was at in just welding an adapter on there, which I might actually still do.
The Enticer L is Diligent Defense.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I've heard good things about that, I think.
Yeah, if I was going to go titanium, he recommended the Enticer. He did say that it'd be a little bit tingy because it's titanium. But I said it'd be anything is better than a 2-port brake that's on it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I might play around. I might.
You know, that's not a bad idea. If you're going to, so my thought was you just take an adapter. I actually think, hold on, I've got one sitting here somewhere. Fuck. Okay.
Talking and things, crashing and things.
I spilled my drink.
Oh, not the Bahama Mama.
Uh-oh.
No, the other one.
Bahama Papa?
The Voodoo.
No, the freaking cup of wine. Just this little thing. If anyone who's watching, this is just a little threaded thing that threads over a 1/2-inch 28 and turns into a 5/8 24. That's all I was talking about putting on there so that you could take his 1/2-inch 28 threads and move it up to a 5/8 24, which is the standard for 30 caliber suppressors.
How does that go onto your barrel? Does that
thread?
Thank you.
It's like okay. It's like a nipple, like a pipe nipple.
Yeah.
So it just
like
makes
that.
it.
It's like a little top hat.
Or
it's a little top
pipe
hat
bushing.
that goes on your threads.
Not a nipple, a bushing. That's what they call it.
Yeah. That's
it's
not a bad
small
idea.
in the middle, but also threaded on the big.
If you went with a QD, it's the same concept, except you're using a QD muzzle device instead of an adapter to a direct thread muzzle device.
Yeah.
Seemingly. Which isn't a bad idea. There's plenty of really good titanium muzzle devices that are I wouldn't say universal quite, but like the taper mounts that I use from Griffin Armament,
Mhm.
I put those on. They're threaded for whatever thread I need, half 28 or 5/8 24. And then as long as I have the Griffin Plan A adapter in the QD hub on the back end of the suppressor, they can, you know, screws down on my taper mount.
Gotcha. Honestly, I've also thought about like throwing a junk thread adapter on and just welding the living shit out of it, the whole thing, and then just having the barrel turned again, and then having that actually threaded to 5/8 24, just building up the barrel pretty much. But at that point, I'd be fucking with a lot of stuff, so I don't think I'll do that. I just want to make sure that it's going to be plenty stout enough at the all the way at the end of that little tiny fucking pencil barrel that I won't ruin a can. So
Vince, I was interested in the adapter because the Otter Creek Pole 30 that I ordered, I plan on using on 5.56 rifles. So I was curious how those worked, what it looked like, etc. I hadn't actually gotten around to Googling them, so.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I just bought some cheap ones to mess with.
you can get them on Amazon.
Yeah, you can get them on eBay too. I would look for one made by a suppressor company. I would see if someone like Silencer Co., Griffin Armament, YHM, if they make just a barrel adapter to
I
go
think
from
YHM does.
half 28 to 5/8 24. You get just something made by an actual suppressor company, and you're probably going to be fine.
Okay. Dope.
So yeah,
Yep.
that's where I'm currently at on the whole suppressor quest. Which this is going to be a long quest because I am poor, but I did see a bunch of antelope today, like on my way to
Ooh.
work, and then like 3 different groups on my way home from work, and every single one of them were bucks. And I was like,
What the
"Holy
buck?
shit! I didn't know that I didn't know that we had this many bucks around. None of them like real big. There was one this morning that was I'd have shot it, but everything else, I mean, they're little bucks just as tall as their ears. But I'm like, God, the buck population just fucking exploded. So
That's strange.
I hope to see.
They're out there like,
in the
hey,
next-
where are the women at?
I hope to see in the next couple years some pretty gnarly bucks coming out of here. So antelope bucks.
I mean, that's cool to look forward to.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to watch them grow because they don't down here. They don't really run that far off. Like if you see one herd of antelope and they're within like 2 or 3 miles of where you saw them before, I bet you it's the same herd. So it'll be pretty easy to keep track of them.
Keep track of them. Yeah, no, I lost
Yeah.
my thought. Nothing we haven't said before.
I
so
will
never
do.
mind.
I will indeed keep track of them.
I had more, but then I quit, so never mind. Like, I don't think many of us have. I think you have your tag, but I don't think anybody else got antelope tags this year.
I put in. I don't know if I'll get it.
I don't know if I did put it. We'll see. I can't even remember at this point. It makes no difference.
Okay, I'm back.
I could
Hi,
I could talk about my tags and what I put in for it, but I think I'm gonna hold off on that. I need to get to my talk about my camping trip during the eclipse.
Yes.
So, some of you might know I'm down here in Oklahoma, and I was reasonably close enough to the total solar eclipse to that I don't know. I felt like I had to try and make it down there. And I had thought about it 6 years ago, the last time one got kind of close. And it's like the next time there's one coming through nearby, and I'm gonna go look. I'm gonna go see what it's like. And I managed to get the day off from work, and I realized the place where I've been hunting down in southeast Oklahoma is in the path of totality. So I was like, okay, I'll just take the entire family down there. We'll go down there the night before or the day before, and then we'll just be down there for the eclipse. So I got my wife and 5 kids in a 2-wheel drive van going down up in the middle of nowhere to go camping. And it all turned out okay, really and truly.
I see you
went
came
down-
back alive.
Yeah, I came back alive. And I'll say this. So, all right, just a little bit of kind of contemporary information. There was like a lot of people in that area of Oklahoma during that time, but none of them were where I was because they don't think like I do, apparently. I kind of thought like maybe there's going to be a few people up there, but there was no one. We ran into one private logging company worker who happened to be around where we were during totality. Like she drove by about 20 minutes after. She was like, "Oh, dang," talking about the whole thing that happened. I was like, and that was the only person we saw the whole time. Everyone else was down around Broken Bow in the far southeast corner, like around Ida Bell, where you had the most of the totality. It's like there is no way you can convince me to go down there during this time. But where I hunt was northwest of there. Is like you got to pay a land access fee to go up there. It's not a lot. It's $40 a year, but a lot of people aren't going to know that. Like maybe I'll run into a few other people. There was no one, and it was really cool.
Nice.
We went down there the day before. I took the family over to where my son and I have camped this last year, and where I plan on camping in the future. But kind of looking around, there wasn't a good spot to put up our big tent. So I went back to another spot where someone else had carved out a camping spot probably a long time ago. It's usually occupied during hunting season, but during the summer it wasn't. So we put up our camp there. There was a fire pit. So we camped there for, set up our camp, and then we went looking around. We did some hiking. We parked where I normally park when I hunt, and we walked up a road to, I say road, it's an old logging road that hasn't been used frequently. They use it whenever they need it, but other than that, it's unmaintained. And there's a formation called the Devil's Backbone, where it's like this massive formation of granite that juts out of the earth near a river, and it's really narrow at the top, and there's basically enough room to drive at the top, and that's about it. And so we hiked up there and looked around, and some nice views and stuff. And we did camping things. We messed around with the fire, toasted marshmallows and stuff. My son actually, so he's a little sponge, and I showed him what wild onions look like. So he's running around in the woods and with his sister, and which is actually, that's a big thing because a year and a half ago when I was out hunting with him, I had to leave him for about 5 minutes so I could go pursue a wounded deer. And I came back to him pretty upset that he was by himself in the woods. Well, now he's out and running around in the woods like he doesn't care. Like, Dad, look what I found. Like, get back here. You're 100 yards away. You shouldn't be out there by yourself. I'm like, but I found onions. Like, okay.
Were they actually onions?
Snakes,
or
bro.
were they me last year with Death Camas? Death Camas.
They were totally onions.
Okay, that's good.
So he brought them back, and I'm like, absolutely. I'll chop these up, and we can have them on our hot dogs, whatever. I mean, they're not big onions. They're really young onions.
Oh, yeah, they're wild onions.
Yeah,
Young
they're
onions.
wild onions, but they get a nice little spice to them. I put them on my bratwurst, my
they're super
cheddar
tasty.
brat, and I was like, ooh, that was good. I was like, thanks, son. You found onions. Cool. No, we camped that night. It got colder than I expected it to. I was expecting, mid 50s. I think it got down to like 43, maybe 42, somewhere around in there. And a lot of people in the tent were pretty miserable. Like I got up at 12 o'clock, maybe 12:30, and went around and closed all the vents and everything and made sure everyone was shoved into their sleeping bags, which of course nobody was. And I've got a 3-month-old and a 16-month-old in the tent, and I'm trying to like make the 16-month-old sit still long enough, like dragging him down into the sleeping bag, like, quit freaking crawling out of here, you little turd. Just the joys of camping with children, And then I'm up at 5 a.m, like, I need to make breakfast so that I have something to do. But I don't know, that part was fun. Yeah, we were sitting around the campfire kind of before, like maybe the sun had just gone down. I couldn't really tell because there's some decently high hills around, but I hear something coming through the woods because the kids have been running around in the woods, and I have no idea. Well, I know where they are. They're back at the camp now, but I hear something in the woods, so I immediately go into stalking mode. Like, what is that? So I sneak that way, and I go over there, and I'm looking around, thinking like maybe something's coming up, something interesting. And it's making so much freaking racket. I'm like, what the hell is that? Oh, it's a freaking armadillo. Like, it's always a freaking armadillo. Like, you hear something coming through the woods during deer season, and it's always a freaking armadillo.
Did you pet it?
Yeah,
Did
I'm
you
not,
kill it and turn it into an armadillo helmet?
I'm not quite dumb enough to go, running around, rubbing my body on armadillos.
How about just
turn it
poking
into
your
a-
body?
Just like, oh, hello, Mr. Armadillo. Yes. No, I pulled out my 22. I had a suppressed 22 pistol on my hip, and I pulled out like, hey, look, an armadillo. Pow.
You mean?
Yeah. Pew. I actually
So-
missed the first time. I shot underneath him, and he's like, what the hell was that? And
In that voice too.
it was like, I knew I missed too. It was like, oh, I shot underneath him. Dang it. And then I adjusted, my aim, and the next one had a nice good old like smack going along with it. And then he ran off. And then my son's like, Dad, where'd it go? Because he's, of course, right there, And I was like, I don't know. Hold on. Give me a minute. And he's like, I think it got away. I think you missed. And I'm like, no, I did not miss, boy. And so we finally
I missed
followed
the
it.
first time.
Yeah, I finally. I think I had to go chase down my toddler because he was trying to run off again. But after I did that, I took the kids over there and like found where he was and tracked him, and then finally found a little bit of blood because I'm not using. I use solids in my 22 pistol. I don't use expanding ammo, just for reasons. And he went like 20 yards or so, but he crawled down in a hole and you could see him right there. And I poked him with a stick and was like, yep, he's dead. But anyway, shot a little bit of vermin while I was out there in the woods. Kids like, are we going to take him back? I'm like, no, don't touch it. Don't do that. Leave it alone.
Don't even look at it.
Leave him in the hole where he is, where he decided to go. That's fine.
I
But
could have pulled him out and turned him into a sex toy, an armored dildo.
armored.
That is
dildo.
not going to be a show title.
Nope. Nope. No show title for that one.
Mm-mm.
Turns out that's how leprosy started. That's the only way it spreads, and everyone's just like, "Oh no, I just
I just
touched
caught
it."
it. I just caught it from
No.
somebody.
Freaking armadillos.
Well, that's how COVID started. The pangolin.
I was going to say bats, but yeah.
That's a reference.
Yeah, I know the
Ugh.
pangolin. I got it.
All right.
So, how
Uh,
was the eclipse itself from your vantage?
Well, after that, we had a nice cold night, and then we started packing up the next day, and really didn't do much hiking around the next day. It took me a good amount of time to get everything packed up, nice and tight. And we were gonna. So in the area where we are, it's technically it's private land, but it's leased for public access. So it's actually a wildlife management area. And the roads really kind of sometimes don't qualify as roads. They only qualify as roads when the logging company is using them as roads because they'll fix them up while they're using them. And I decided, like, okay, we're camping here, but I want to go a little bit further southeast, maybe 10, 12 miles for totality so we get a little bit more of it. Well, we get everything packed up. We head that way at about whatever time it was. I don't know. I had about an hour. And I get about a quarter of the way there, and we've gone through a couple mud holes, and we get to one. I'm like, okay, we're not going any further than this because I don't want to get this 2-wheel drive, 1-ton van stuck in the mud. So we decide to turn back, and we go up what is technically a mountain. I know you guys in Colorado are going to probably laugh at this, but there are mountains in southeast Oklahoma, and we
Lies.
went up one, and there's actually a camp we found there, which had the funny distinction of there being like a toilet just sitting in the middle of the woods.
See, these are the things you don't get with Colorado mountains because the frickin' no one's gonna haul a toilet in that far.
Well, you think it's a toilet, but really it's a toilet seat screwed to the top of a
Oh, that's ideal.
large tub over a hole dug in the ground. That
I
is
was
the
really
toilet.
hoping it was screwed to like a piece of wood.
That's called an
like a box.
open concept outhouse.
Yeah, and it's just a throne looking out into the expanse of the pines around you.
I mean, that's probably some of the better places I've ever dropped the deuce. So
It seems real nice. I didn't
I mean,
try it out.
it's a
I
sequel
was
to you.
good for the day. But we decided to park there, and we waited and we watched. And I had the idea, like, hey, I've got my thermal with me. I wonder if I can get a picture of
No.
a solar eclipse with a thermal. And learning later, that's probably one of the dumbest things I could have tried with that. But it appears that I'm okay. All right, because there was quite a bit of cloud cover, so we never had a direct view of the eclipse. Okay, there was some cloud cover the entire time, ranging between we could barely see something to it was completely obscured. But I think that might have saved me with messing with the freaking thermal, because I actually emailed iRay afterwards, like, hey, did I screw something up? And like, send me a pic of your of your screen. I was like, okay, here it is. I'm kind of worried about like, whether or not it's picking up whatever, yada yada yada. And like, this is what it would look like if you had really messed it up, and it's not what mine looked like. Like it would have had like zigzags all over the screen where it actually like ruined the sensor, and
Yeah,
mine
where it
does not
burned
have
you.
that. Yeah, it would have been burned in, and it's like sweet. So I actually got a thermal picture of a partial solar eclipse where I was at, because I took the pictures after it had totality had passed, which I thought was kind of cool. But while totality was going on, we had probably the most cloud cover of the day.
Yeah.
Of course, because that's how it works.
Yeah.
You can't go see a total eclipse without seeing full cloud cover. You can't go see a shooting.
A shooting?
Shooting star.
What?
No,
The
just a
shooting-
shooting.
The shooting stars. Damn it!
Comet.
You can't go see a
I
shooting.
mean, comets are
without
another
knowing
one.
fiction.
Yeah, yes, you can't go see shooting. You fucking
Which
dicks.
okay, it was just me though, because apparently everybody, like the
Meteor
hundreds
showers.
of
That's the word.
thousands of people who were in southeast Oklahoma who were down by Broken Bow and Idabel, they had like a break in the clouds as totality passed over. It was like a once in a lifetime event. We got to see the corona. Like, nope, I
Yeah,
got
but
clouds.
they're not you.
Yep. Which it was pretty cool. Like it got really dark and stuff, but it was not like some emotional, like
Event.
life-changing event.
It was not a significant emotional event.
I was like, okay, that was cool. It got really dark. I made the kids be quiet. And yeah. And then after that we packed up and headed home. So, went out camping with all the kids, which turned out to be manageable enough. Killed an armadillo. That was fun. And got to experience a total solar eclipse.
Through the clouds.
Through the clouds, yes, but it got hella dark, okay? Like, imagine a slightly cloudy night with a really good full moon. That's how dark it was.
That's
Basically.
pretty cool.
In the middle of the day, and the kids thought it was really cool. So I count that as a success. And I got to play with my thermal and wander around the woods with a gun and all that good stuff. So got to cook on a campfire and
Almost cooked your thermal.
That's great.
potentially, got close to cooking my thermal. Have no idea how close I actually was, but
I wonder how many people in the country you've now joined that were trying to look at you. There's probably at least one other person that tried to look at the eclipse through a thermal. There's probably at least 3 people who burned out their night vision trying to do the same thing.
I have seen. Okay, I saw one guy on Reddit who looked at it with his night vision.
What an idiot!
That one crazy bastard. I have seen no one else talk about any kind of thermal use, and I am guessing that I skated by because I had such a deep cloud cover that I just picked up. I didn't pick up like the heat of the sun. I picked up the heat of the water vapor over me.
Yeah, you didn't get the full blast.
No. I don't know. I might be the only person with a pick out there from a thermal during a solar eclipse.
Well, that's cool.
I know someone famous.
Almost cost you, a few thousand, but that's fine. Worth
Yeah. Possibly the dumbest person you know.
it.
But no, we got done with that and we drove out, and I'd considered staying into the evening and like messing around. I was like, nah, I want to be home. I thought about staying because I figured like traffic's gonna be real bad. heading back towards Oklahoma City, and decided to just go ahead and head out. And it took about, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes, an hour to get back to the main road. And when we got there, there was a line of cars stretching to the horizon, doing it, luckily doing about 60 miles an hour. But I was like, man, that's a lot of people. And I managed to slip into traffic because it was just a 2-lane road. And it maybe took us an extra hour to get back home after that. Though I kind of heard that there was a nightmarish scenario after that where there was people sitting in standstill traffic for hours on end.
Yeah, I heard that.
Hard pass.
So I'm kind of glad I decided to go ahead and just go home when I did, because extra hour, perfectly fine. 6 hours in a vehicle with the kids who are mad, not fine.
6 hours in a vehicle by myself, not fine.
Yeah. So got lucky on that end too. So all in all, that was a pretty successful trip for me. I thought it was pretty cool. We planned for a while that we were going to go try and see the totality. We didn't get to experience like the celestial event where you get to see the corona around the moon, but we did get to experience, the whole darkness in the middle of the day. And then I think we plan on going to the next one if we can, because there's a total solar eclipse in 2045
I'll be
that
dead.
is going to it's actually going to cross
Different.
roughly the same area, except it's going to cross northwest to southeast.
Homie, you're going to be locked in a near peer war with your neighbors. You ain't going to have time for that by 2040. You're going to be
Yeah.
using that thermal for its intended purpose. That's all I'm saying.
If you haven't been marked by then. Or nuked. We just broke him. All right, so since he,
solar eclipse
Whatever.
blocked
I'm
out
out of
by
things
nuclear-
to say, and my voice
It's
is
a-
dying.
by nuclear.
it's a
winter.
total eclipse of the heart.
Oh, that's gay.
So gay.
We better end this before it gets any worse.
As if Vince hasn't done enough talking the last half hour. Vince, take it away.
I mean, I could do it.
Well, if support the sport and take a buddy hunting, get some trauma training. Follow us on Instagram at Let's Go Hunt Podcast. If you're the prick reporting our account, you can kindly fornicate thyself. Still, Let's Go Hunt on YouTube and Reddit at r/Let's Go Hunt Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, tell your friends and family about us. Check the show notes for info on Initiative 91, the ban on cat hunting in Colorado. Thanks for listening, and let's go hunt.
You're so old. Oh, thanks, buddy, for the little chime in the outro.
Every time I think about our outro, I think about like Swedish Chef. Like, support the sport.
I like go-girded or number 4 no. I like the number 4 nose Nacho Deluxe.
Yeah, number 4 nose Nacho Deluxe.
That'll do.
That's the one.